Yo, what's up? Fresh out. It's the King So Rich. Got the King D Rugz with me. BX New York, stand up. So listen, man, you the first person on here from the Bronx. Right? BX, shout it out. So let me ask you a question. Tell the people about yourself, tell the people about the Bronx, tell the people about your background and what life was like for you growing up in the X.
Life growing up in the X, it was fun. It was hard. It was, you know, you got happy days, you got sad days, you got sunny days, you got rainy days. I mean, I grew up in a household of, I'm the oldest of 7 boys. You know, it's just 7 boys in my house. I was the only child till I was about 8 years old. That was when my second brother was born. After that, everything was like from ladders. They all about a year apart from each other. So I was like very much older than all of my brothers. Like in high school, when I was in high school, they was toddlers, they was kids, so they was more like my kids. But when I was 7 years old, we had a little fire in my house, and my mother just happened to not be there. My uncles was there. So when the fire department came, and they came with the cops, because of the fire, like the fire started because my uncle was smoking in bed. So it led to a lot of other things that I really didn't understand as a 7-year-old child, but it led to me getting taken away right then and there. Like my mother wasn't around, so they snatched me up and I was put in a group home. I was put in Children's Village. So my mother had lost her rights at the beginning because I got taken away. So, you know, she got to go to court. She got to do all these other things. So like growing up in the Bronx, like I really can't tell you all my experience of growing up in the Bronx because I grew up in group homes, DFY, and jail. So a lot of the things in the Bronx, like I really can't say nothing bad about it because it's my actual breath of fresh air. It's like, I love that place because it's home. You know, it's home. It's the home that, you know, and it's funny because it's like I've been going in and out of prison so long that my sister the other day happened to tell me, not my real sister, like I said, I don't have sisters. I just got brothers, but it's my sister. And she tells me the other day, she's like, damn, Dave, like, you do bids on the street and you live in prison. And like that kind of messed me up because I'm looking at her like, and I can't keep telling her like, yo, I'm coming home to do good. I'm doing great this time. Yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Because I said all that shit before. You know, this ain't my first rodeo. So it's like right now I'm at a point where I can't even talk to these people and tell them about what I want to do or what my plans are doing. Right now is the time to just strap up and just do it. You know, talking is over with right now. But to answer your question, like growing up in the Bronx for me was great because I didn't spend too much time in the Bronx. I spent so much time in prison that every time I got to the Bronx, it was like, yo, thank you. I don't care if I gotta sleep on a project roof tonight. I'm good. I'm free. I'm home. So, you know, that was my experience in the Bronx growing up.
So the first time I got locked up, I was 15. Juvenile detention center. Went there for 6 months, 6'5", string of armed robberies. Ever since then, I've been in and out the system. So I could relate to what you like feel like you're never on the streets, right? People telling you that when you home, it's like a vacation because they're already anticipating that you're going right back to where you usually be. It should be the other way around, but it's not. A lot of times for individuals that grow up in the streets, running the streets, talk to me about your experience growing up inside of the system. Then.
Growing up in the system is different. It's you start to normalize a lot of things, like, cause I found myself right now sometimes like realizing that growing up in the system has made me like think a lot different than the average people that are around me, and it hurts sometimes, you know, when I look at it, because like there's times I have conversations with my wife and I say something and she'll look at me and be like, yo, but why you think like that? And I chalk it up to, man, man, I just came out of jail. Like, you know, how else you think I'm supposed to think? Like, you know, this is how I've been thinking for all these years as a survival tactic. And then 1 minute y'all just let me out and I'm supposed to go back to normal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in prison, anybody that's been to prison, you know there is absolutely nothing normal about that place. You know, and to be accepted to just live abnormally for so long and to just go out there and just be normal in 10 minutes, it's not gonna happen. It just doesn't happen. It's not. You know, as humans, we creatures of habit. You know, we put in one leg at a time in our pants, and if you paid attention, if you a righty, you usually put your right leg in first, and you never change. Try put in your left leg for a week and see how uncomfortable that is. You know, it's different. So growing up in the system, you're hardened. You're like you become you don't have the same emotions another person has. Like there's been times where we'll be sitting down and a person be like, yo, what's up with Rob? Yo, I just saw him the other day. Yo, how he doing? Oh man, they just gave him 50 years. Word? Man, he be alright. They just gave him 50 years. What you mean he be alright? He ain't alright. Ain't nothing alright about that man right now. That man got 50 years. But we normalize certain behaviors it's just different. And sometimes when I sit back and I view like myself, I do a lot of self-inventory. And when I view myself, I look at it and sometimes like it's hurtful because you look at it like, damn, I made those choices. You know, I wasn't nobody's victim. I'm not a victim at all. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm a victim or play the victim. You know, I went out there, I committed those crimes. I was guilty of every crime I've ever been arrested for. You know, I did those things. But it's different, man. Growing up in prison, you learn a lot of behaviors that, like I said, are abnormal. Like a lot of abnormal behaviors. You become numb. You know, your feelings are like, they're not heightened at all. Like you see certain things, it's like you're so desensitized to things. It's like, you know, yo, your aunt just died. Word? What happened? Yo, they found her in the garbage somewhere. Damn. I hope her kid's all right. This your aunt we talking about. This your mother's sister. You know, that's not the normal reaction you would get in the streets, but you're so desensitized to things in there that you just don't even, you don't pay attention to too many things the way normal people perceive things. You know, like you just, everything is hard, everything is heightened, everything is tough. And it's supposed to be, you know, according to that environment that you in, everything's supposed to be tough. Like there's nothing you're supposed to do that's soft. Like, you know, it's like, you know, growing up as a man, we're taught that men don't cry anyway. Growing up in prison, shit, you better not be crying. You know what I mean? You could cry in that cell at night when you by yourself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people, I did. You know, I had a lot of nights in that cell where I cried, and then the next morning, you know, we can't let these guys see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm vulnerable now. Like, y'all could get me now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can't show that neither. So, like, my little brother died when I was in prison. One of my brothers, my little brother Carlos, he was 17 when he got killed. And that was like a real bad experience for me because my little brother died in a home invasion and I was in prison for home invasions. So, like, that really stuck out a lot. It still does to this day. My little brother died in 2004 and I still had 5 years to go in prison. And I was on my second bid. So, you know, that was different. It was real different. It was hurtful. I couldn't go to the funeral. Like I said, they don't, you know, the funeral thing is kind of hard when you're in prison and your family members die or something. You know, you don't just get, oh yeah, go ahead, throw him on the bus, he gets to go to the funeral. Nah, they gotta do a security check on you. They gotta find out why the person was killed. My little brother was murdered, so I automatically couldn't go because the individuals weren't apprehended yet. So, you know, they don't know what it stemmed from. And the facilities, they don't want to put their officers in jeopardy. You're sending them out there to bring you to these funerals and something happens to them. But it's just different. It's hard. It's hard, and it keeps me up at night even in the streets right now. Like there's times where I look at and I smell and I'm like, damn man, I love this. Like this is the best feeling in the world. You know, and I'm going through all types of things right now where the average person would be like, man, what you mean you great? But I'm great. You know, I'm great. I'm blessed. I'm alive, and I'm free. And that's all I can say about that.
Now listen, you said a lot, and to be honest, it don't get no better than that. And what I mean, it don't get no better than your freedom. Right, so when you mention these things, like rest in peace to your brother too, and some of my condolences and my respect to you and your family. And, you know, it's not the first time you shared that with me. Like, you know, we built behind the wall, in themselves, we've been in themselves together, where it was just us going through wicked things at the end of the day. You mentioned aunt, my aunt died while I was in prison, my favorite aunt. And it's crazy because she came up to visit me. So we on a visit, we talking, we laughing, we chopping it up, and all of a sudden she like, oh, and I'm like, yo, Uncle, what's up? She like, yo, nah, my stomach, I gotta go in the car, go lay down. So I'm like, all right, you know it's serious. She just drove 7 hours up north to see me. Clearly she wanna see me. 8-hour visits, but in the middle of the visit, she like, yo, I gotta go to the car for the next 4 hours, right? So she went in the car, you know, I was talking to my mom. And, you know, I spoke to her after that, and that was that. She went to go get it checked out. Doctor said it was a fatty liver. It was a fatty liver? Okay. Year later, she come back to visit me again. We talking, we kicking it. Yo, what's up? And once again, she like, yo, my side is killing me. Like, yo, it's been killing me off and on. Like, the doctor's talking about it's a fatty liver, but I gotta get a second opinion, because this don't feel like a fatty liver, like this is wicked. So she went back in the car again, second visit, this is a year later. I spoke to her about 2 days after that. She went to the doctor, they was waiting on the results. Couldn't find out, it wasn't a fatty liver, it was cancer. And because the doctor gave her a wrong diagnosis that first year, she was already stage 4. So guess what? It's my favorite aunt. She come to visit me all the time, accompany my mom. And in that conversation, they let me know, like, the doctor said she got a month left. So imagine that, right? And like, that's why when you was talking, I could relate 100%. I'm like, damn, like, how do you take that? One of the people that care about you the most in the world, an individual that stood by you when most individuals, you know, moved on with their life or forgot about you. Now I'm behind these walls, and I can't go to your funeral, right? Cause we not blood, right? I grew up with you my whole life, you my aunt, but we not blood, so I can't pay my last respect, right? But at the same time, like, I'm in the belly of the beast. So, like you said, that emotion is not for now. Cause guess what? I still gotta do this bit. We still gotta do this time. So I totally resonate with everything that you said. And that's my Aunt Val too, by the way. Rest in peace, Aunt Val. Love you. And 100% without a doubt, man. So let me ask you, like, you free now? As a matter of fact, we talk about that later, man. Shout out to Rugz, shout out to the Bronx. We here, yes. Fresh out, Big Herb 916, So Rich.